Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another wrestling video, and today I'm going to be reviewing one of my favorite SummerSlams, SummerSlam 1994, which took place on Monday, August the 29th from the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. And, you know, this was a pretty good SummerSlam, a very good card in my opinion, and one of my favorites. Okay, let's get right to it. First match of the night, we had the Headshrinkers versus Bam Bigelow and Owen IRS, as we know him. Now, this match was originally booked as a match for the WWF Tag Team Championship, and as we learned before the match, that Diesel and Shawn Michaels had defeated the Headshrinkers the night before in Indianapolis, Indiana, to become the new Tag Team Champions, and this match just went into SummerSlam as a regular tag team match. Anyway, a pretty good match. The crowd was very hyped up and ready for this matchup. You know, I didn't like how the ending went. It was a pretty solid matchup, but the ending could have been a little better. It ended in DQ as Bam Bigelow nails Captain Louis Albano, and then an enraged Alpha got up on the ring apron and started swinging at Bam Bigelow, thus disqualifying the Headshrinkers. Your winner by DQ, Bam Bigelow and Owen IRS. Okay, next match was for the WWF Women's Championship, Alundra Blayze versus Nakano. Oh my goodness, this has to be one of my favorite women's wrestling matches in wrestling history. I've never seen two athletes brought more intensity and more, you know, good things to the women's division, and Alundra Blayze and Nakano did just that. For a long time, from 1986 or 1987 to 1994, I would say there was a lack of women's wrestling in WWE, and this match brought back so much. It gave you hope that the women's division still had some hope and had a future in the WWF. Anyway, a pretty physical match. At one point, Nakano got Alundra Blayze in some kind of move similar where she did the sharpshooter and then turned her into this pretzel-like maneuver and was just pulling her back by her arms. You know, like I said, a pretty physical match. The end came when Alundra got the German suplex and the victory and retained the WWF Women's Championship. Okay, moving on. For the Intercontinental Championship, challenger Razor Ramon versus the Intercontinental Champion Diesel. The twist here was that Razor Ramon had Chicago Bear Walter Payton in his corner, and Diesel, as you know, had Shawn Michaels in his corner. Anyway, a pretty good matchup. A lot of outside interference from Shawn Michaels in this match, and we see Walter Payton get around there to the ringside to try to drive Michaels off from interfering, but yeah, Michaels interfered in that match like for maybe, I would say, 70% of the time. And also in this matchup, we seen when Shawn Michaels got in the ring to deliver the super kick to Razor Ramon, but missed and nailed Big Daddy Cool Diesel. This would set up what would happen in the future months between Diesel and Shawn Michaels. And Razor Ramon, after the super kick, got the pin on Diesel and is your new Intercontinental Champion. After the match, we seen Diesel screaming at Shawn Michaels backstage, and like I said, this would set up for what would happen in the future between Michaels and Diesel. Your winner and new Intercontinental Champ, Razor Ramon. Alright, next up was Lex Luger versus Tatanka. This match, there was a lot of hype to this match because for months Tatanka had been accusing Lex Luger of selling out to the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, and we seen, you know, Lex Luger say how he would never sell out. He did not sell out. He's a man of his word. And then, you know, as we get to the match, a pretty short match that lasted like about 5 minutes, I would say, but it did a good job of telling a story, because we see the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase come down to the ring and then distracts Luger while Tatanka got the pin, and then all of a sudden we see Tatanka attack Lex Luger from behind. I mean, he just pummeled and beat Lex Luger senseless, and then they shoved the dollar bill down his throat, the $100 bill, and then we seen DiBiase speak to Tatanka, and then Vince McMahon said that man, Ted DiBiase, has been whispering into Tatanka's ear. And I love the promo that Tatanka cut right after the match. He said, we fooled you, Luger, and the whole stinking country. I mean, just a classic promo. One of my favorite heel turns in wrestling generally. Anyway, your winner, Tatanka. Then we had a match with Mabel versus Jeff Jarrett. This match is pretty forgettable. Probably lasted like 7 minutes or so. We had the thing with country versus rap. But anyway, Jeff Jarrett gets the pinfall on Mabel, who I believe missed the finishing maneuver he was trying. Okay, then we move on to the match of the night, folks. WWF Championship in a steel cage match. Bret Hart versus Owen Hart. Okay, and as we know, the whole Hart family was seated at ringside. And yeah, we had the British Bulldog, Jim the Anvil Hart, Bruce Hart, Stu Hart, Helen Hart, Diana Hart Smith. And then, you know, we had other members of the Hart family there as well, like who we don't, you know all that well. Anyway, this match was a classic steel cage match. These two guys showed you that in order to have a steel cage match, it does not have to be a bloody massacre, that it can be, you know, something of a technical nature. And, you know, these two guys delivered that sort of match. We've seen a lot of technical wrestling and a lot of, you know, counter wrestling in this matchup. You know, just one of the greatest cage matches ever. The high spot in the match was when Bret Hart took Owen to the top of the cage and did the superplex off the top of the cage. Unbelievable. The crowd went nuts. And, you know, these guys, I mean, they had their moment. They indeed shined and stole the show at this SummerSlam. Anyway, the ending came when both men were trying to climb out of the ring, and then Owen's feet got tangled in the cage, and then Bret climbed down and won the match and retained the championship. And as soon as the match was over, we saw Jim the Anvil Hart clothesline the British Bulldog and Diana over the railing while they were celebrating, and then him and Owen Hart threw Bret back in, and they continued to attack Bret. And we saw, you know, Owen Hart even took off his boot. Eventually, the Hart family members tried to get in the ring as well, but they were fought off by Owen Hart and the Anvil. And then eventually the British Bulldog climbed in the ring and tried to save Bret, but Owen and the Anvil had already escaped. And you know, I just love the Hart family feud. It was something that intrigued me from ever since they were all feuding with each other. And then at the end of the match backstage, I will never forget the promo that Owen Hart cut. He was like, I don't know what the hell the British Bulldog's doing interfering in my business. He's not my brother, he's not my family. Bret, I had you beat. I mean, Owen Hart could generate so much heat as a heel that, you know, you love to hate him. It was, you know, a heck of a match. A great 30 minutes classic steel cage match. Your winner and still WWF champion Bret Hart. Okay, and then the Undertaker versus the Undertaker. The story here was Paul Bearer's Undertaker against Ted DiBiase's Undertaker. We've seen the vignettes leading up into this match the weeks earlier, where, you know, Ted DiBiase would bring out his Undertaker, and then we heard Paul Bearer say how DiBiase's Undertaker is a fake. And then we had all these little vignettes with Leslie Nielsen saying he's there to solve the mystery of the Undertaker or whatever that is. Anyway, onto the matchup. Not a memorable match, but I mean, you know, it was just, you know, you knew the real Undertaker was going to win over the fake Undertaker. It was so obvious. The entrances themselves took like about maybe, I would say 5 minutes each for each entrance. Anyway, the fake Undertaker wins with a tombstone pile driver and wins the matchup. Paul Bearer's Undertaker, that is. Alright guys, so, you know, let me know what you think about my SummerSlam review. Let me know your thoughts on Bret versus Owen and some of the matches that I mentioned and some of the things that I said about some of the matches. And, you know, leave a response and let me know what you think. One of my favorite SummerSlams of all time, SummerSlam '94. Alright, so I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.